Hi friends, Simit here from InformedTrades.com. Today is February 10th, 2014. Time for our daily Forex trading room. For those of you who are new to this video series, basically each day of the trading week, I in the morning at around we're starting generally about 15-20 minutes later, so it's about 8:15, 8:20 a.m. New York time, which is 1:15, 1:20 GMT. Taking a look at the daily charts in the Forex market, about 20-some pairs that I look at, and I share the trades I'm placing, what moves I'm making in the market. Okay, so let's get started. As is customary, I like to start with the positions that I already have on in the market, and I have 4 positions on in the market. So first one is Australian dollar, US dollar, USD. Okay, and we want to make sure most of the time I'll be looking at the daily chart. That's sort of the default view you want to start from. Okay, the trade I have on is I entered at this black line. My stop is at this red line, target profit green line. The position is a little out of the money. It's got a small floating loss at the moment. But in general, I like the price action so far. You know, we're at a resistance level here. We see a little bit of a range bound market, which could be distribution. The market could be getting ready to head back down. The trend is still bearish. We're at the 50 exponential moving average. So, you know, we'll find out if it ultimately ends up going my way. But at this point, I'm comfortable with it. The trade is on board. No real action to take, you know, until we head south. In fact, I would think that at least until that bottom line, 85.50, at least until we're below there, or no, not 85.50, 88.50, excuse me. Until we close below this point right here, 88.50, I probably won't move my stop to break even. So if we can break down and close below 88.50, I'll move my stop to break even, and my target profit is still at 85.70. Okay, so that's Australian dollar. Risk is still exposed there. No difference. Euro pound is another order I have on in here. I'm short euro pound. Okay, short euro pound. This one's a little in the money. No real action to take. The orange line here is where I will move my stop to break even. Nothing to do really until that point. Next up is pound US dollar. Okay, this is really a great price action setup. We saw this is one of my favorite setups I've seen in a while, and so far it's working in my favor. Basically, we're clearly in an uptrend. Price pulled back, right? And it pulled back to a major support level near 50% Fibonacci retracement from this swing low to this swing high. And actually, if we modify this a bit and make it here, which is more appropriate, from this swing low to this swing high, then that support level that we identified is exactly at the same spot as the 50% Fibonacci from this pullback, from this move up from this year. Then we saw 3, basically hammer patterns at the support level. So that's great. That's, we have a lot of technical indicators, and to me, this is a great example of why technical analysis works. I recently read an article about why someone's suggesting technical analysis doesn't work. I mean, here's a clear example of it working very well. So in any event, not yet. This position is in the money. Almost time to move to break even. I want to see, and we might be able to do it at the end of today's session. We'll see. But I'd like to see it close. So it's tapped through, but it hasn't closed yet above that dashed orange line. So basically, at this point, euro pound and pound dollar are still the risk is still on the table. Now, New Zealand dollar, US dollar. And actually, Aussie dollar too. So I have 3 positions where the risk is still on. Okay, Kiwi dollar. Still have that target here at this green line all the way up here. Stop is at break even, and half the position was taken off here. So we'll see what happens. Basically, not really going to do anything. Let's see if we can hit this profit target, and we'll take it from there. But at this point, everything's still as is. So we have 3 positions that are filled, and like I mentioned in my video on Friday, I only really want 4 positions on, each one risking 1/4% until I can move my stop to break even. So I have 3 positions. I have 4 positions on total. One, my stop is at break even. So that means 3 positions where the stop is not at break even, meaning if the stop is hit, my account balance will go down. And I don't want more than 4. I don't like to risk more than 1% of my account value at any time. Now I also have some orders on. Let's go to those entry orders. These are orders that are on but have not gotten filled yet. One is to short Aussie Kiwi. And this one looks like it's not going to get filled. So it came very close to getting filled here. I must have missed it by a few pips, unfortunately. Very close to getting. I put the entry order on after this candle, and then you see yesterday's candle. It almost got filled. Hasn't gotten filled yet. It might still, but not looking as favorable. Um, let's actually look at the 4-hour chart here. Yeah, man. So you can see this is really like we're like 1 pip away on this candle here. Very, very close. But close doesn't make a difference because it didn't get filled. I think I may. I mean, is it going to get filled now? It must have been like within 1 pip. I will modify that. I'll actually literally move my entry order down 1 pip. um, okay. Um, I'll move my stop forward 1 pip. Okay. So this one didn't get filled. I don't know if it will. Let's go back to the daily. Um, but the other order I have on is Euro Yen. Now, when I was looking at the yen, I placed this off the weekly chart. So we're still quite a bit away from this. It's the order to go long Euro Yen at this black line, stop at the red, target green. Hasn't gotten filled. This one I'm willing to wait a little more because it's really an order placed on the weekly chart. So we should be looking at it from the weekly perspective. Okay. So we'll see. Give it a little more time. If one of these orders, Aussie Kiwi or Euro Yen or something gets filled, and I still haven't moved my stop on my other 3 positions on any of those positions to break even, then that's it. I only really have room for 1 more at this point until I can move a stop to break even, or if the position gets closed out. So we'll see. It's definitely something to bear in mind. I am near my maximum risk tolerance here. Okay, let's start just looking at the other pairs. Euro, Australian dollar. Okay. This is and I had the Euro, Australian dollar. This is a potentially good, and I did have an order on here at one point. I think there were a number of orders I was looking at, but Euro, Australian dollar. This would be nice. This is a really nice setup, and this hammer here is a really great pattern. We may come back to this. I'll jot this down. I think my issue with the Australian dollar is, let me see. Yeah, I have room for 1 more Australian dollar position, and it could be Euro Aussie long, so that's something to consider. I don't know if it'll get filled at this point, but the price action is looking good. Let's see, Euro Canada. Okay, we mentioned this before. This really looks like the market is. I'm going to extend this. Extend right. There we go. It really looks like we broke out of this price channel, and now the market is respecting the former high of the price channel as support. Broke out, now we're testing it, and now that would suggest that we're headed higher. And we may want to, I don't really like to trade this. I would have much preferred to see a pullback to here and buy it there. But I mentioned this before that it's a common technical analysis perspective. And that may be something we want to bear in mind when looking at other Euro trades or Canada trades. That Euro CAD is looking bullish. Euro Pound, we looked at Euro Yen, we looked at Euro New Zealand. Yeah, still in that range. I'd like to see a trending market, so nothing for me there. And Euro US dollar. Okay, at the top of this is interesting. We really rallied, and I had talked about. I'm long the pound here, so I'm not. It's not that much of a concern. This may have been a better trade. Um, but we're now at the top of this, trend line here. Or touching this trend line. So it'll be interesting to see if we can break through if the market respects this, or what. In any event, euro, dollar, definitely still within these two trend lines. We'll see if it breaks out. Has rallied notably. I've got exposure to this. Those who've been watching these videos may recall I was looking at putting on a trade like this last week, but I did I did pound dollar as well instead. Pound Aussie. Okay. I have basically I don't really have room for additional exposure to the pound, because I don't like to have more than, in addition to not having 4 positions on more than 4 at the moment. I don't want more than 4 where my stop is not a break even. I also don't want more than 2 in the same currency in the same direction where my stop is not a break even. So I'm long the pound. And most positions haven't moved to break even yet. I may be able to move 1 tomorrow or at the end of today's session. But I'm going to hold off on pound currency pairs for now. Pound Aussie does look interesting. However, we saw Euro Aussie. I'm going to lean towards Euro Aussie instead, just because I haven't really, because I don't want too much of a pound concentration in the pound. We'll still go through these pound Canada, but I really won't be trading any of them. Same idea here. We saw the same thing with Euro Canada. Broke out of the channel. Now it's testing the top. This is a good setup, and we had sort of seen this coming. Someone wants to go long the pound now. Could be a good opportunity. Seems like Euro is now leading pound in some respects. Pound Swiss. Okay. Still in the middle of that trading range. I find the huge ranges on this to be a little distorting, but we're in this channel of swords. I really wouldn't want to trade it. Maybe it fell to the bottom. I could see myself buying, maybe. But in any event, I'm not 100% confident in that. Pound yen. Nothing. Still would like more of that pullback. This is still, there might be something on the weekly chart like we saw with euro yen. Let's just take a quick look there. Okay, so maybe if it pulls back this black line, we're still 500 pips away from that 550. So I don't know about that. I like the setups on the euro more than the pound at the moment. Pound kiwi. Well, this would have worked out great. I did initially want to short from here, but I didn't. That's fine. The question is, would I have gotten stopped out because I had the entry order short here, but then we had this big candle here. But in any event, I didn't. I'm kind of glad I didn't. I think there are other setups that were better. That's why I like to review all the charts before placing any orders, because I like to see, sometimes you see a good setup, but you might see a setup that's great somewhere else. And I'll limit myself to the best setups. Turning down most offers, I think, is good. Pound dollar we looked at earlier. Okay, so that does it for the pound. Let's go to the U.S. dollar. Dollar Canada. Okay, dollar Canada. Canada's been rallying. Euro Canada and Pound Canada look like they might be ready to head back up. I'm not seeing that on dollar Canada just yet, and we do have a long wick candle here, but let's see if we can get a little bit of a base forming in before we head up. No opportunity yet on dollar Canada that I would like, at least. Dollar yen. Okay. Nothing yet really. We're seeing something similar on. I do think yen is getting ready to head back down, or meaning all these yen pairs are going to head back up. But I think the way I've got my entry order on euro yen, I'm most confident with that. I still would prefer to trade this one weekly, just I've gotten burned a bit with the yen. I don't want to cling to that loss. I mentioned this. I don't want to cling to that loss psychologically, but I do want to learn from it and respect that there is a chance that this trend is just changing direction, and that we're now going to see a pattern of lower lows rather than higher lows. But if we can fall back about 150 pips or so on euro yen, I think I'd be interested in that. So that's dollar yen. Let's go to dollar Singapore. Okay. And I talked about going long yesterday or on Friday. I didn't at the moment because we had some weird price action. Maybe I should have, though, because I was all about set to place the order, but I didn't because of price action. And we had in the midst of that, I think non-farm payrolls came out or something, and price really started declining. But this is a good setup. I don't know if we're going to get a pullback here. That's the thing. I think I should have just placed the order, and it would have turned out great. I'll give it a shot, though. We'll see. We'll come back to dollar Singapore is another one. So right now I'm looking at euro Aussie. I'm looking at dollar Singapore. I think I may have hesitated and missed my shot on dollar Singapore on Friday. We'll see. Okay, so that's dollar pairs. Now we're going to the Australian dollar pairs. Aussie Canada. Still in the middle of this range. Let me change the colors on this a bit. Make it a little lighter. Okay. If it's going to be a channel, I'd really like to see it fall a little more. Maybe if it can fall to this level right here, 98.12. Right now we're at 98.71, so still need to fall about 50 pips. We'll see. I'm not a huge fan of this price action. So we'll see. I think I would pass in general. I'm looking for an opportunity to go long because I think the trend now is but even then it's not really a great trend. So we'll see. Maybe we could follow to the bottom of the price channel. Like here, 97.25. We'll see. Yeah, because I mean what I was thinking last week was that this was a trading range and I was short at the top. Now we've broken through that, so I'm wondering, and I mentioned this in the video last week. I'm wondering if this is break out of the trend, a test of that former resistance, and head higher. So that's what's leaving me a little hesitant on this pair. Like I mentioned before, looking for reasons to not enter a trade, I think is a good policy. You really want to be confident. You really want to wait for the setups that you think are perfect. Um, Aussie Swiss. Okay, this is also a potential short. Jot this down. Short Aussie Swiss at 81.42. Yeah, this trade is I think I canceled it because at one point I had a bunch of orders on for the Australian dollar. This one still seems legit. But it'll probably get filled if the Australian dollar rallies. That's the thing. Because I have that short Aussie Kiwi order on. So if the Australian dollar rallies enough to fill this, it's probably not guaranteed, but probably going to rally also against Aussie Kiwi. And so that could get filled. Aussie Yen. Okay, we are now back in this trading range of sorts. I don't know really what the deal is with the price action on Aussie Yen. It's a little weird. Um, I still would tend to regard this as a trend or in a range. Let me redraw the range. Oh, where am I? Oh, here we go. Okay, so I think you could say it's basically something like this, right? Um, so if we can go to the top or bottom, that could be interesting. It's really choppy here. Um, so not really my kind of opportunity. I know I did short here and make some money, or short at this level when we broke below here and made a little bit of money. However, it hasn't really head down, so it wasn't like a breakout. Truly, it's just got back up. So that was, unfortunately, I profited. That was nice. Got a small profit, but not really the great kind of opportunity that I'm looking for. Aussie Kiwi we already looked at. Aussie US, the order is already on. So I am looking. I do have an Aussie Kiwi order on, and we looked at Euro Aussie. If both those, what I'm looking for either way, for in order to get filled, is for the Australian dollar to rally. I don't think I'm going to put on an entry order on Aussie Swiss or Euro Aussie I looked at because I've already got Aussie Kiwi on, and I think that will satisfy it. So if the Australian dollar rallies, I'll probably get filled on one of those, um, on the Aussie Kiwi order, which is all I really need at the moment. Okay, now let's look at New Zealand dollar, New Zealand Canada. Okay, New Zealand Canada. There we go. Still choppy. We did see Euro Canada and Pound Canada head higher. New Zealand Canada looks like it still hasn't made up its mind yet. In any event, I'm not really interested in trading this. I don't really see an opportunity. If it falls to the 89.20 right around there, 89.70 maybe, there could be an opportunity to buy. But until then, I will hold off. New Zealand Swiss. Okay, still in the middle of this range. Like I mentioned with these range bound things, if it goes to top or bottom, I could be interested in trading it. Other than that, I will hold off. And I still prefer the trend opportunities. Kiwi Yen. Okay, this is similar to the Euro Yen position I have on, so I'm going to stick with that. Maybe it'll pull back and get filled, but it's going to be a while. I'm going to wait a little bit. And I don't want too much exposure to the yen. I'm still sort of a little hesitant. I think there could be a big opportunity there, but I want to be a little cautious on it. And I'm more interested in looking at it from a weekly perspective. I figure if I'm going to if I'm really interested in a long-term opportunity in the yen, so here's a bullish engulfing pattern. That's interesting, but we do want a little more of a pullback. Okay, so that's Kiwi yen, Kiwi dollar. Okay. And this I already have the position on. You know, stop is at break even. Half of it's been taken off, so this position is working out well. So far, let's see if it can ultimately reach a profit target at 83.72. Okay, so that's the recap of all the charts at the moment. I think what I'm going to do is go to US dollar, Singapore dollar. I think I'm going to put an entry order on here because basically the only opportunities I saw that I liked were to go long dollar Singapore or to short to short the Australian dollar on a pullback. But I've already got orders placed on for that, so I don't want to overdo the Australian dollar. I've got one that's already been filled and one that's pending, so I'm going to put more orders on. Dollar Singapore, I clearly should have done this on Friday, but here's what happened. Let's just recap. And I need to think about my system a little more to think of if I made a psychological error. Yeah. I think I did. I think it was just basically, this candle was in development, so I put this order on it. All of a sudden, it dropped sharply, and then I was like, "Oh, let me wait." But that turned out to be a little bit of a mistake, and I may end up paying for it. I may not end up getting filled. Um, so I really should have just pulled that on, and then we'd be in the money. But you live and learn. Maybe I'll get another shot at this. Same order. I'm going to enter at 26.70. My stop at 26.41, so risking about 29 pips with a target of 28.23. So this is a really nice reward risk setup, and we'll see if it works out. I'll have this trade documented on my blog on InformedTrades. If you have any questions, anything you want to add, join us at InformedTrades.com. Thanks and best of luck in your trading.